Hey, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Sunday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, Veterans Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. We are live this morning on YouTube only. Trivia will be excited to know. For some reason, Facebook Live is not going live this morning. So I just took the YouTube link and put it up on Facebook. So, hey, babe.
And so, they do our grocery order.
Oh, you don't want to come do Ask You?
Can you do it in there?
Maybe we could do that. Yeah, maybe. We'll do that a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So fire away questions that you got. We'll say some good mornings here in a second. Brad David said, "How was the birthday dinner?" So Erica's birthday was yesterday. Her birthday dinner was Friday. We went to Rufino's, had a great time. We actually got a little creative, changed up our orders a bit. Got a little crazy. I got a ribeye, which I always get. I thought about getting a blue cheese crusted filet with Gouda mac and cheese. It was on the specials menu, but went with the ribeye. But we did get a different appetizer. It was like crawfish ravioli type thing. It was really good. Got my ribeye. Only drank one. I had a whiskey and then drank wine. Anyway, so it was a really good dinner. And they're always wonderful there. Rufino's is great. I mean, we basically do every special occasion dinner there and have for a long time because they're awesome. Food's great, ambiance is great, the treat is great, so we love it. So Trivia just jumped aboard, said good morning. Brandon said Facebook is trash. Trivia said facts. Trivia, you probably missed where we started. Facebook Live is giving us issues here this morning, so we're on YouTube only. I did take the link from YouTube though and posted it on Facebook. So maybe some of our Facebook folks will join us here on YouTube this morning. If you're new on YouTube, please subscribe up to the YouTube channel. Smash that like button. Damon Gilmore, Josh Langlois, good morning. Matt Plavidal, appreciate y'all for being here. So y'all probably noticed yesterday, if you were on Twitter, it became a big old thing that Tyrann Mathieu deleted all of his Saints and Chiefs related posts. I don't want to completely overreact. We know that he has an excused absence from the start of training camp. Dennis Allen said he was dealing with a family issue or a personal issue. So everyone this week essentially just accepted it, gave him a pass, and assumed that he'd be here sooner than later. I mean, I heard some rumors, did they have COVID, whatever. Whatever. I mean, but you see that yesterday, and it caused a lot of people to melt a little because there's this feeling that maybe Tyrann isn't coming back. Now, to be very clear, don't know that. Don't have any inkling of that. I probably reached out to maybe a half dozen people yesterday to see if they had any insight, and everyone either had a different explanation or no explanation. So as uncomfortable as it really is a wait and see. Hope they can get him re-engaged and back soon because I think they need him. You know, for all the reasons we talked about why it was so important. You know, not only did Malcolm Jenkins retire and Marcus Williams walk in free agency, so you're replacing your safety tandem. You sign Marcus May in free agency, and that's great news because he's healthy and he's been out there here for the start of camp, so that's one of your starting safeties. But Tyrann's supposed to be your other one. Not only, you know, is he one of your starting safeties, he's also, you know, an emotional leader on the defensive side of the ball. We've talked about with replacing Sean Payton how important it is that this team will have great player-led locker room. And you've got guys. James has taken on that role, but you got veterans like Cam Jordan and Demario Davis. So I'm not saying you can't do it without Tyrann, but there's a reason you went and signed him, you know. So hopeful that it all works out and that that he's back sooner than later, and really just back. All right, we'll say some good mornings. You know the drill. Fire away. Any questions about anything? Larry Garner, good morning. Matt Plavidal. Matt, my apologies. I asked this. I totally forgot what you recommended. Thought I saved the video, but can't find it. Need a whiskey recommendation. Not expensive, not cheap. Okay, so what's it for? And is it for you? And do you know what you like? A little more info there, Matt. Is it a gift? Is it for you? Is it not expensive, not cheap? Means different things to different people. Let me know what you're thinking there. Brad David, good morning. Brett DeGrow, good morning. The Lioness was on a mission last night. Pena showed a lot of toughness. Hope to see the trilogy. Oh, that's a given. That is 100% a given. They will have a third fight. He's talking about UFC 277. Amanda Nunes avenged her loss to Juliana Pena. Unanimous decision last night. Congrats to her. She's the greatest female fighter the sport's ever seen. And was, as Brett said, on a mission last night to sorry, Sports Center's doing a feature on the kids from Uvalde. It's like a softball feature. Anyway, sorry. Yes, Brett, I do think we are going to see without question, we will see the trilogy. Let's see. Brad David. Was Jimbo Fisher ever close to coming to LSU in 2015? Why didn't it happen? No, not in 2015, as a matter of fact. Well, let me rephrase that. Are you talking about 20? Well, because they did that dance back-to-back years. I got to remind myself now. Hold on. Oh, God. Okay. All right. Here we go. So, 2015, yes. 2016, no. Oh, God. Okay, shoot, I'll tell this story. I'm not sure if I have publicly. I definitely would never tell this on radio. All right, let me get my. I mean, that's been 7 years now. Let me make sure I get my memories back together and straight. So, Joe Oliva leaked to Scott Rabelais, if you remember, that Les was coaching for his job over the final 3 weeks. Scott ran the story because the athletic director gave it to him. And then Joe Oliva, after the A&M game, went on to the post-game press conference, if you remember, announcing Les was staying, and said, essentially hung Scott out to dry and was like, I told you our policy was we don't make these decisions till the end of blah, blah, blah. It's like, anyway. But yes, Joe Oliva had begun discussions with Jimmy Sexton. Joe's big, gigantic misstep was he and King Alexander were not all the way aligned from the beginning. And it was Thanksgiving week, and effectively they had an agreement. Joe went to King Alexander to say, hey, this is the number, are we good? And it took King like 3 days to okay. And so then Oliva went back to Sexton to say okay. And Sexton said something to the effect of, well, now that I know you have no leverage, the price just went up. And so then Oliva had to go back to King. And remember, at the time, this is when King was trying to prevent the governor from cutting the higher ed budget in the legislature. Remember, that was the big thing where, are they going to have a season? Do you remember that? Are they going to have a season? Or do you remember when John Bell said there may not be an LSU football season? That was this whole time period. So when the price, when Joe had to go back to King, that's when King said, no, not doing it, pull the plug. There's this whole idea that the decision was made like at halftime of the A&M game, which is not true. The decision was made the Wednesday that week when everything fell apart. Joe was going to, in the post-game press conference, announce Les was staying. And so the board meeting, the informal board meeting at halftime of that game was just to advise board members what was going to happen. So 2015, yes, 2015 was very, 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 very much going to happen with Jimbo coming to Baton Rouge. 2016, they were never interested in Jimbo. They were so put off by the way that the dance with Sexton went the year before that they really kind of brilliantly used Jimbo kind of as a red herring. I mean, everyone was thinking Jimbo. The whole time they were over here getting their deal done with Herman, and then that ended the way it did. And then they rushed Ed Ogeron up to the podium to beat Herman at Texas. Let's see. Wayne Dolice. Good morning from Orlando. Trivia. I'm shocked Facebook is having issues. We've had issues here before too. Trivia now. Don't go crazy over there. Keaton Ben. I'm not passionate about any particular platform. I'm not emotional about a platform, Trivia. I don't really care. I just want, give people the option to watch wherever they want. Where are we? Keaton, let's go. Big Brennan is about to get busy dropping dimes. Yeah, man, Thursday. It's first practice. So LSU reports on Wednesday, first practice on Thursday. We, of course, will have camp reports for you and updates. Curious to see how they manage the schedule as well. In the past, we've seen the 2 days where, you might have in that first week freshmen early in the day and veterans in the afternoon, or switch that however it may go. See how Brian Kelly handles practice. That'll be it'll be interesting. We will get the schedule tomorrow. The media will get the camp schedule tomorrow. So I'll let y'all know when they send it. Tim Gotro, good morning. Cody Boudreaux, morning. Matt. Tyrann must be upset with Teddy. Tyrann must be upset with Teddy. Teddy who? Teddy, don't know Teddy. Teddy. Dale Broussard, happy belated birthday, E-Rock. Murder Giraffe, g'day. Dale Broussard. Alex Mackay Wingo seems to be a name popping up in LSU football circles lately. Yeah, so he won the Iron Tiger Award, whatever that is. I guess that's a new conditioning award given out by the new strength and conditioning staff. I think that's a fantastic sign for a couple of reasons. Obviously, new guy coming in, full bore, ready to work, ready to make an impact. And also, I think it's a good sign that you have a new strength and conditioning staff that is completely unbiased and impartial. They're getting to know everybody all at once. So it's pretty cool that you're, a new guy like that who's only been on campus really just this semester can win an award like that. Leonard Revere, good morning. Raymond, morning, Scone. Happy Sunday. Have you heard of and or tried the Old Kirk bourbon? It's not awesome. If not, it's awesome. I highly recommend it. It's like Kirkland's. Gregory Carter, if Tyrann doesn't come back, what are the Saints turn to? Please, not Sorensen. I mean, that's a great question. I don't know if you go seek a safety elsewhere. You certainly could play Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in the Tyrann role and move Bradley Roby to nickel. I mean, that's an option which they may look at. You're definitely not better without Tyrann. Matt Plavidal, let's see. Going to visit a buddy of mine. Not sure what he likes, but he's a whiskey snob. Okay, don't want Pappy Tim, but not Sazerac either. $100 price-wise. So here's the thing, Matt. If you're going to spend $100, it's going to be very hard to find something on a shelf that's worth $100 that he hasn't tried. Barrel picks are always interesting. If you can find, Old Elk weeded, is, I don't know where he lives. He said you're going to visit a buddy. Old Elk, weeded is probably in that $70 range, which is really good. I mean, ideally, you find a bottle of like Eagle Rare or McKenna 10 or something like that, which is only like $30 or $40, but they're really hard to find and anybody would love. Right? Hope that helps. Billy Mathern, Matt, are you looking forward to counting toe taps in Yankee Stadium one day? Talking about Eric Raisman signing with the Yankees, absolutely. But what's funny is like, if you watch pro ball, like you'll notice how many pitchers do that. How many pitchers like load and tap their toe like that. But yeah, it'd be awesome to see Raisman in Yankee Stadium. Let's see. Keaton, don't be surprised if the O-line ends up being a strength of the team, giving Brennan time to drop dimes and Emery room to run wild. Emery should have better game versus FSU than Brissett had versus Miami in 2018. Okay, Keaton's in his Sunday morning homer mode. I'll probably just ignore all the rest of your comments, Keaton. Brad David, whatever happens to the website Gridiron Now used to write for, and had really good articles. Yeah, they went under. They had some funding and basically as a startup, and it's a very competitive space. They drove good numbers, but you have to know how to monetize things, and they just, they just didn't know. So let's see, Brett. Let's see. I would go Elijah Craig, barrel proof, or Angel's Envy Rye if your buddy likes rye whiskey. Like Elijah Craig barrel proof is one you're not just going to find anywhere. That's a tougher to find allocated whiskey. And Angel's Envy Rye, like, you can find anywhere, and everyone's probably had. And I'll tell you, like, as good as it is, they've continued to go up on the price point to where it's now like $90. And I haven't bought Angel's Envy Rye in a long time. It's good, but they just keep going up on the price of it. It's just not, like, you just stretch to a point where. Anyway, I guess my point with that, Brett, is I would agree with you on the EC barrel proof, but you're just not going to be able to find it. And I'd probably prefer to give someone Eagle Rare or McKenna 10 or something like that if you could find it. But yeah, those are good choices. Dat Cajun, what's good? Live from Port Bouchon. Okay, Joey Metke. Matt Plavidal, Teddy is Latoya Cantrell. I thought she was Tweety. I thought that's what they called her. It was Tweety. Let's see. Dustin Blanchard, good morning. Dak Cajun got the deer backstrap marinating for the pit later. Okay, sounds like a day. Who dat talking? How and why would Tyrann Mathieu not stay? That's the question we don't really know, man. So he was obviously went through all the off-season work, went through the OTAs and minicamp, and then right here before the start of training camp, Dennis Allen announced that Tyrann, was dealing with a personal issue. So everyone just sort of granted him that, just took that at its face and granted him that time and patience, and no one really asked. Well, then yesterday, Tyrann deleted everything Saints and Chiefs related from his Instagram. So that, of course, sets off this firestorm of, is he retiring? Is he quitting? All the what ifs. So, and I don't know. I'm telling you flatly, I don't know. And I asked, I made a half dozen calls yesterday, and and nobody has like a consensus on it. So I'll be patient. Saints said they'll be patient, wait and see, with whatever it is he's dealing with, and hopefully he gets back soon. Damon Gilmore, Juliana is so tough. She is. I was pulling for her last night. Jason Austin, no Facebook. Yeah, if you're just joining us normally on Facebook, join us here on YouTube. Facebook Live was not working this morning, so we're live on YouTube only. So do us a favor, smash that like button if you're here on YouTube, and if you're new on YouTube, please subscribe up to the Matt Moscona channel. Just hit the red subscribe button. It's totally free. We just videos post in your feed when we go live. Strong side, good morning, Scone. Judge for AL MVP. How about that? Judge is up to 42 homers. He's on pace for 64, which of course would be a Yankees record, passing the 61 that Roger Maris hit back in 1961. I'd love to see it, man. Let's see. Pierce, KJP2 Matt. I saw Bo Scarborough was going to try for the Saints backfield. Any news, opinions on that? They did not sign him. So last week, before they started camp, they worked out Darius Victor, Bo Scarborough, Jordan Howard, and look at I'm blanking on who they signed from the Rams. Malcolm Brown. So they signed Malcolm Brown. So the other guys, it's you just keep the you keep the file updated on those guys, basically the scouting file updated in case if you get to a point in the season or some point in camp where you need a running back, you have these guys worked out, so how your organization feels about them kind of collectively. David Bowden, LSU Baseball has Johnson and Johnson. They will go all the way next season. I'll tell you this, David. I think it's a massive disappointment if they're not in Omaha. I think LSU and Tennessee will have the most talented rosters. Tennessee's rotation will be three guys that are projected first rounders. They should be very good again. But I'll remind you, Tennessee was the best team in college baseball this year, did not win the national championship. Didn't even go to Omaha. Arkansas 2 years ago was the best team, did not go to Omaha. So baseball is a different kind of sport. It's hard to project, winning a natty. What I'd say is LSU is certainly talented enough to be in Omaha, and it would be a massive disappointment if they're not. And you hope you put together, a good 2 weeks and go win it. A week and a half. Also try Garrison Brothers. I hate Garrison Brothers. I spent $100 on a bottle of Garrison Brothers a couple of years ago. I had like 2 pours out of it. It's still sitting there. That's one that I recoil when people mention it. That Garrison Brothers, in my opinion, is what is wrong with what's happened with the whiskey game, where a newbie came to the party, threw together what is not a very good product, and rushed it to market, marketed it, put a high price point on it, people buy it, and that's one I tell people to always steer clear of. I think Garrison Brothers is trash at $100. Price it at $25. Maybe I'll snag a bottle here or there. $100, trash. Would never recommend that to anybody, ever. All the looky-loos are back, y'all. The estate sale next door. Cars all up in my yard again today. All day, people walking through my grass, parking in front of my house, blocking my mailbox. Got a friggin' 80-year-old Crown Vic blocking my mailbox, blocking my front walkway. Like, I want to go slit their tires. Drives me freaking crazy. Let's see. 100 per card. Get the dude a bottle of Crown so he could have a cool quarter bag. Or beads. Yeah. What else do we use as crown bags? Doubloons. That's what we did. We put doubloons when we were kids. Go to the Mardi Gras parades, put doubloons in those crown bags. Greg T, thankfully I recouped my Otterlocks losses from the past week with several wins on last night's UFC card. Almost had to sell my game going back after that cold streak. Bro, it was bad. I am gonna fade Jimmy this week. He's not on. He's so locked into Del Mar and the ponies and everything. He's just not locked into baseball. I mean, I think he gave us 8 picks on Otterlocks. He gave us 11 picks. I think he was 3 and 9. Or I guess that would be 12, wouldn't it? Or maybe it's 3 and 8. It was brutal. Or maybe it was 2 and 9. He was 2 and 9. His one of the losses was a parlay where he hit one leg of it. So he got 3 games right, but his picks, he only got 2. He was 2 and 9 last week. It was brutal. It was a bloodbath. Okay. Educator, Mets or Braves in the NL East? Give me the Braves. Not very convincing with that, but I'll just say the team that's been there, got to knock them off. All the Mets getting Scherzer back now is a big deal. Colleen Mets, actually. I was really happy for Brandon Moreno last night. Yup. Sean Patrick came to the chat to say they call Mayor TD. It's colloquialism for aunt. Got it? I just don't care. But okay. Someone put Teddy earlier, and that was obviously not it. DA, let's see, Matt, how would you handle QB in preseason? Andy's the first quarter, book the other 3. Can't get Andy hurt. He's good enough to win us games, keep us in the hunt if James gets hurt. Yeah, so remember, you've only got 3 preseason games now. My guess is Book will get the lion's share of the snaps. I don't know how they'll handle, because if you remember, when there were 4 preseason games, you would generally build up to the starters playing the most in the 3rd preseason game, to where like you'd play the whole first quarter, first half with the starters in the 3rd preseason game, and they would play it all in the 4th. Well, now you have 3 preseason games, but remember last year, one of the preseason games got canceled because of itis, so they only played 2. So I really don't know how they're going to handle 3 preseason games. I'm supremely disinterested in seeing Jameis Winston on the field with a knee brace, trying to take any type of hits at all. So, I mean, that 2nd week of preseason, you're at Green Bay. Remember, they're doing joint practices with the Packers that week. So that's maybe where he gets the most work in. And then that final preseason game when they're at home. Chargers, right? It's Texans, Packers, Chargers. They probably treat like you used to treat the 4th preseason game where nobody plays. Brian Powell, good morning, Matt. Tyrann still has all the Saints related posts on his Twitter, if that's worth anything, keeping positive vibes to the situation. Love what I'm seeing from camp so far. Brian, I mean, I'm trying not to read too much into it. The Saints are being patient with him. I trust they got a good organization, good culture, and they'll do what they have to do to support him and hopefully get him back. But ultimately, it's up to him to decide, like, if he still wants to be here, wants to play. You know, he's under contract with the Saints, so it's not like he can go play somewhere else. But it's just, is he in the frame of mind to play? That's what we have to wait and see. Sean Patrick, any chance baseball plays with wooden bats? Some random Tuesday game in March? Probably not. That's a knock against Tennessee, by the way. Strong side with Luke Vero. Was Luke Lido, not Vero, but transferred to Kansas, and Pineda signing his MLB contract. Will that affect LSU defensively? So good question. Luke Lido is joining Dan Fitzgerald and Collier Cranford, by the way, at Kansas. So no, your infield will be some combination of Carter Young, Jordan Thompson, and Gavin Guidry. And then as far as your backups, I know they would like to have another sort of utility player on the infield. They are going to work Gavin Dugas a lot at second base. Tommy White can play some third if need be. That may be just how it rolls. So would they like to have another sort of utility infielder? Sure. But I also recognize, even with the roster as it is now, they're going to lose some guys by Christmas. I mean, it's just, they're going to go through fall ball, and there's going to be dudes who realize, yeah, I'm not playing. I got to go. Brett, let's see. As we talking whiskey, I get a knock on the door. Got a delivery. E.H. Taylor single barrel. Okay. Not retail, of course. Woodford Reserve, Kentucky Derby 148. Okay. E.H. Taylor single barrel is solid for sure. My favorite is the barrel proof, uncut, unfiltered, and 4 grain. Those would be my 2 favorite E.H. Taylors. Gregory Carter Jr. What happened to Mike D? I miss him on AFR. Gregory, I miss him too, man. Mike D's my guy. Mike D took a full-time radio job, and so contractually and timing, because he's on when we're on, can't come on anymore. Hunter Picard, do you think LSU can have a year like Michigan State did last year? Hunter, I think that's the ambitious, like, optimistic peak for this team, is if you basically do what Michigan State did. Remember, Mel Tucker went to Michigan State, brought in a ton of transfers, and basically made over that roster with transfers and had a really good year. They definitely had some shortcomings, which is why in a couple of games they got blasted. But shoot. But they finished third in their division, which kind of is like what we talked about. So they went, they beat Pitt in the Peach Bowl. Of course, Pitt didn't have Kenny Pickett. So they went 10-2 and then won the Peach Bowl. So they lost 40-29 at Purdue and then lost 56-7 to Ohio State. So it took a few whippings along the way, but won a lot of games, and did so largely on the backs of a transfer roster. I mean, Kenneth Walker was awesome last year, and he was obviously a transfer in. That's I think is your best case, is you have more, you hit on more of those positions than not, and you end up with that type of season. As always, shout out to Brock, y'all. Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Brock, Rock and Wine, 6 days away. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, commercial or residential roof repairs, roof replacements. We'd love to help you out. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Hudco, as a matter of fact, is pinned there in the comments. Matt Plavidal, Fonda McKenna 10 for $90 online. Yeah, no. Hey, you're going to buy it. Like McKenna 10 is probably like a $50 bottle. Now, if you want to spend $90 on it, go ahead. But that's, I wouldn't spend $90 on it. But if you're just trying to get something for a friend, Fire away, dude. Hunter Picard. I know it'll not be rainbows and sunshine, but hopefully we'll see a step in the right direction. Yeah, man. Hunter, I think it's going to be hard not to go in the right direction. After back-to-back 500 seasons, I mean, literally having a winning record means you've taken a positive step. I already think they've taken plenty of positive steps, just with organization, structure, all of that stuff is laying the foundation for Brian Kelly to build back a winning culture here. So, I mean, I think they have talent in spots, no doubt. They clearly have some shortcomings. Some things are going to work out really well for them. Some aren't. That's just the way it goes. And I hope they just end up having a nice season and a sort of planting a flag to say, hey, we're heading back to where we were, where we belong, sort of thing. Is Luke Leto related to Jared Leto? I don't believe so. Murder Giraffe. Let's see. Who Dat Life? What happened with Tyrann? Yeah, so don't really know. I mean, he was excused from the beginning of practice, personal matters, and then yesterday he deleted all of his Saints stuff off of his Instagram. So it kind of sent people in this tizzy. He hasn't said anything. The Saints said they're going to be patient with him, and nobody seems to have a consensus on why he's not there. But they need him, so be as patient as you need to be. Migo Tez, do you think any freshmen end up starting? Good question. Let me think. Well, Will Campbell at left tackle, I think, is an obvious one. So yes, Will Campbell at left tackle. I think the only other one that may have a shot at some point this season would be Harold Perkins at linebacker. And that's if you get later in the season, he develops, and maybe some guys aren't performing like you hoped or thought they would. Migo Tez, you say you're referring to the baseball for. Yeah, Gavin Guidry. Gavin Guidry, I think, is going to start in your infield. Hang on one second. All right. Yes, Migo Tez, Gavin Guidry. I mean, the rest of your line. I mean, one of the freshman catchers could end up starting as well. Brady Neal or Bear Jones could end up starting a catcher. That wouldn't stun me. It's going to be Milazzo or one of the freshmen. I wouldn't be surprised if Travinsky leaves. We'll see. Brett, I'll trade you the Woodford for the Taylor barrel proof. Yeah, no. Plus, it's already open, but no, there's no shot. I don't even like Woodford. Woodford's way too oaky. I got a small batch bottle at the Rouse's tasting last week. Oh, nice. Babe Brett. Yeah, man, I saw the baskets that they put together. It was pretty stinking cool, man. I mean, they had some like Elmer T. Lee. I mean, so they had some E.H. Taylor. They had some good stuff. I saw a Rock Hill Farms. I mean, I wish I'd gotten there sooner to snag one of those. Jordan Haddad, Jaden Daniels, who holds the California all-time record for all-purpose yards, second all-time passing, second all-time rushing, running with first-team fall camp system coming together. I mean, Jordan, I think all the quarterbacks are going to get reps with the first team in camp, at least in the first 2 weeks. But, I mean, I tend to agree that I think it's going to be Jaden Daniels. But, listen, I think there are I think there is a logical case to be made for any of the three. I think you could look at Brennan and say he's been here for 6 years. He's the most experienced. They're going to start with the guy that's been here the longest, leader, all that sort of stuff. And that makes a lot of sense. Nussmeier, you could say, like, he was probably the most impressive in the spring, highest upside, fiery, can also, move the pocket with his feet, which the coaches like, and they'll start there. I mean, I get that. That makes sense too. I think there's logic to be had for Jaden Daniels as well. I mean, he's the most veteran. He started 30 games in his career, so he's certainly the most experienced. He's a dynamic runner, which Brian Kelly wants. So does Mike Denbrock. It's something that they've talked about and shown that they want in their quarterback. So, and they went and got him when they already had the other guys. And if they were completely content with their quarterback room, there would have been no reason to go get the other guy. So, that's the one that I think they land on. But I genuinely believe they don't know right now who the starter is going to be. So, we'll see. Murder Giraffe, the way she goes, sometimes she goes and sometimes she doesn't. It's the way she goes. Okay. Kevin Russelot, everything on that shelf behind you goes for over $100 in Florida. It's maddening. I stick to Horse Soldier and Buffalo Trace mostly because of it. Fistful of bourbon, not bad for $25. Yeah, look, man. Everything behind me also is allocated stuff that I've been able to get over years of collecting. Because I buy a lot, I have good relationships, I hustle, I put my name in raffles, all sort of stuff. Because it's a hobby. So that's how I get all this stuff. I don't walk into a store and drop $500 on a bottle. Like, I've never done that. So, I've never paid over retail for anything. Ever. I won't do it. Anyway. But Buffalo Trace is fantastic. Mark S. asked about Kling. Kling might have a shot, but here's Mark while I would say no. I think the corner outfield spots, like, you have a little bit of a conundrum, right? So you know that Morgan, Skeens, White, they're going to be in your lineup every day, okay? And all y'all want to say Trey Morgan's going to stay at first, which he's not. But okay, let's say Trey Morgan stays at first. Well, then Tommy White has to DH, and you play Skeens in left. Because those guys are going to be in the lineup every day. Now, let's say it's a game where Skeens is pitching. You want him to hit too. Okay, Skeens is pitching, you hit. Well, maybe Morgan plays left, Tommy White plays first. And you DH Joe Bear that day, potentially. Or maybe you could play Kling in left and DH White and Morgan could play first. You see what I'm saying? But I don't know that there's going to be an everyday spot there because White, Skeens, and Morgan defensively are kind of the same player. And so you're not going to have a spot because I am assuming, of course, Cruz in center and Pearson in right. And so if you start there, then you got one corner outfield spot available. And Kling could be in the mix for it, but I just don't necessarily see that as a freshman. Chance Babin, good morning. Educator coming out of high school. What were some comparisons of quarterback Walker Howard? You mean who did he compare to? I don't know, man. Sorry, that's just not my... I'm sure if you go to 247 or On 3 or anything like that, they probably have comparisons up. Walker's a really good athlete that can sling it. How about Baker Mayfield? He's 6'1". Let's see. An athletic dude that can run around but can really sling it. I was looking to see if they had comps on 247. I don't see it. Sorry. All right, y'all smash the like button. 107 watching. Appreciate that. Y'all smash the like button if you haven't done so yet. 10:23. I'm going to church at 11:30, so I got to get moving here in a minute. Chance Babb and Emory Jones could end up starting on the offensive line maybe midseason. I'm not sure that I believe that, Chance. And I'm bullish on EJ. I think he's going to be a great player at LSU. But let me put it to you this way, Chance. I hope that's not the case. I hope you don't have two freshmen starting on your offensive line. Like, I hope Tremont Shorts coming in from East Tennessee State was an FCS All-American. Anthony Bradford, Garrett Dellinger, who started a bunch for you last year. I hope those guys ultimately win these jobs. You bring in Miles Frazier, who's a freshman All-American at FIU. Guys like Martinez who have been around. Man, God, I hope these guys who've been around 2 and 3 years, some guys who have started already, like, just take a hold of those jobs. I mean, if you have two true freshmen come in and win starting jobs on your offensive line, brother, that's a problem. Like, that's just a mountain of misses in recruiting if that's the case. And I hope that's not the case. I think EJ is going to be great. Of course, Catholic High kid. But, man, you got to hope that the guys, the more veteran guys you have, end up playing well and win those jobs. Brad David, was F. King Alexander really a drunk? Yes, gladly. Dale Broussard added another milli of game coin. Smart. Very smart. Well, it's at the price it's at right now. Like, the thing I'll remind you too is that a 2x is a 2x regardless, right? So if something goes from 2 cents to 4 cents, well, you've doubled. If something goes from half a penny to a penny, you've doubled, regardless of where it goes, right? So that's why, buying low is always a smart move if you're bullish on the project. Let's see, Jordan, I agree with taking many steps in the right direction, so I'm trying to understand because Vegas real numbers think we're at 5.5, basically same or worse as the past 2 years. Well, Jordan, I mean, it's not hard to figure out why. A big part of it's the schedule. And although I keep bringing this up and a lot of people dismiss it, you got to go to Florida, to Auburn, to Arkansas, to A&M. You're probably an underdog in all those games. You're a home underdog to Alabama. So that's 5 games where you're a Vegas underdog. And you're in a basically coin flip game against Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Florida State, where the spread will be somewhere in the neighborhood of 3. One way or the other, inside of a field goal. That's why. I mean, the schedule coupled with all the questions you have is why. You don't have a set offensive line. You don't know who your starting quarterback's going to be. You have an entirely new secondary. That's why. I mean, it's not hard to figure out why. I just think it's going to be better than 5.5. I think it's going to be better than 6.5. Like, I think 7 is their floor. I mean, if they win fewer than 7, I think that would be a massive, massive failure year one. I mean, you've got to be capable enough of winning your 3 non-conference games and home games against the Mississippi schools. That puts you at 5. You got to be able to beat Florida State and New Orleans and win 1 road conference game. That puts you at 7. You know what I mean? Like, that's not even talking about potential of beating Tennessee at home, which I think they can, which would put you at 8, which is where I think they land. So, anyway. Migo Tez, safe to say starters and receivers end up being best Booty and Neighbors. So, well, I guess I'm just in my head going, okay, so how many receivers are they going to label as starters? I think those end up being your top three. So when at the end of the season, when you look at receptions, receiving yards, I think those are your top three, yeah. Which is really tough to say also because of Jure. And I think Jure may end up having more receptions than Malik, but I think Malik's big play potential maybe puts him over the top in like touchdowns or yardage, like yards per catch type deal. So forget about Jure in there. Let's see, Mark S. Is Emory Jones really up to 6'6"? I don't know. I hadn't seen EJ since, honestly, I went and spoke at Catholic career day, whenever that was. March, April maybe. And he rolled through. It was the last time I saw him. So I don't know him. He's a big kid. I don't know if he's 6'6". Chance Babbitt, since Baker got traded, do you think we won't see him in every other commercial? It's a good point. Like, I don't know. So, like, the deal he had was with Progressive, right? The at-home with Baker Mayfield commercials. So, I don't know, like, if he signed let's say he signed a 3-year contract with Progressive. I don't know. Well, if he did, well, he would continue him. And somebody told me this. Apparently, Progressive pitched him on the idea of doing a moving out. Because like the Cleveland Stadium was like it was his home. I've seen the commercials, but he was apparently like moving out, like loading up the moving van, moving out of the house. But I think he. Don't you do it, you old white hair? Don't you park in my grass? Old white-haired lady in a minivan pulling up in my yard. If you have not heard, there's an estate sale going on next door. And so all day yesterday, there were cars just all in my grass, all in front of my driveway, blocking my mailbox. And yet again, the 80-year-old in the Crown Vic is left, and now there's some little hatchback back, by the way, with their hood open. There's someone is using jumper cables in front of my house. There's a car that has died in front of my house, and they're using jumper cables now. And go move into a gated community. Have people pull right up in front of my house. James Eckholt, is Deion Smith still in the portal? No. Deion Smith is in junior college. He had committed to Ole Miss. I guess couldn't make grades, and so he went JUCO. Coy Moore is at Auburn. Those are where the two receivers went. All right, y'all, I think we might be just about done. I appreciate y'all for watching. 5 weeks away from LSU football, y'all. 5 weeks away. Camp this week. Excited about it for sure. As always, shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Brock Rock and Wine is Saturday. We're inside of a week, y'all. Get your tickets at brortho.com. Of course, the event is inside of the Tiger Stadium South Stadium Club. So, really cool way to spend a Saturday evening if you can get out there. And, of course, Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Trivia, not the jumper cables. But, like, come on, man. Want some broken-ass car right in front of my house? Someone pulling up, strangers with jumper cables, but jumping a car. Like, what are we doing here? And how long does it take to jump a car? Like, it's just a minute. Just turn the engine on for a minute. At least that lady was nice enough not to walk in my grass. She at least stayed on the patio. Hey, Drew. The patio, the sidewalk, sorry. Hey, you want to come say hi to Dad's show?
Not for that.
Come say hi.
Not for that. Not for that.
Oh, you got to change that diaper. Whew.
Not for some diaper.
Well, Dad's going to go to church.
Bird.
Bird. Hey, come say hi to Dad's show. Hey, come here. Hey, you. Come here.
Hi.
Hi. He's coming. 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 He's here. Okay. Who is it?
Drew.
Drew. Drew and
Daddy.
Daddy. What's Drew's name?
Drew Benjamin Moscona.
Drew Benjamin Moscona. What's Daddy's name? You remember?
Matt George Moscona.
Matthew George Moscona. Very good. What's Mommy's name?
Erica Lee.
Erica Lee. Good job. Okay.
Da-na-na.
Ding, ding, ding. We'll see you later.
Da-na-na.
Okay.
Da-na-na.
Okay. Property value currently decreasing. Kyle, I'm serious. Like, you imagine if like we were selling our home and they were like doing showings today, and you pull up to the house and that's what you see. Anyway, 33 at Nebraska now. Oh, Trey Palmer. Yeah. That's true. That's it. Trey Palmer's at Nebraska. With Mickey Joseph, and as well as Dakotas Crawford. Donald and me, have a good day. All right. Y'all have a great day. Wonderful to have you all here. On your way out, please smash the like button if you're new. Please subscribe up to the Map Scone YouTube channel. We appreciate it. Okay, have an awesome day.